Chapter 6. The Ark returned to Israel. The Ark of Yahweh was in the country of the Philistines 7 months. The Philistines called for the priests and the diviners, saying, "What shall we do with the Ark of Yahweh? Show us with which we shall send it to its place." They said, "If you send away the Ark of the God of Israel, don't send it empty, but by all means return him a trespass offering. Then you shall be healed, and it shall be known to you why his hand is not removed from you." Then they said, "What shall be the trespass offering which we shall return to him?" They said, 5 golden tumors and 5 golden mice, according to the number of the lords of the Philistines. For one plague was on you all, and on your lords. Therefore you shall make images of your tumors, and images of your mice that mar the land. And you shall give glory to the God of Israel. Perhaps he will lighten his hand from off you, and from off your gods, and from off your land. Why then do you harden your hearts, as the Egyptians and Pharaoh hardened their hearts? When he had worked wonderfully among them, didn't they let the people go, and they departed? Now therefore, take and prepare yourselves a new cart, and 2 milk cows, on which there has come no yoke, and tie the cows to the cart, and bring their calves home from them. And take the Ark of Yahweh, and lay it on the cart, and put the jewels of gold, which you return him for a trespass offering, in a coffer by its side, and send it away, that it may go. Behold, if it goes up by the way of its own border to Beth-shemesh, then he has done us this great evil. But if not, then we shall know that it is not his hand that struck us. It was a chance that happened to us." The men did so, and took 2 milk cows, and tied them to the cart, and shut up their calves at home. And they put the Ark of Yahweh on the cart, and the coffer with the mice of gold, and the images of their tumors. The cows took the straight way by the way to Beth-shemesh. They went along the highway, lowing as they went, and didn't turn aside to the right hand or to the left. And the lords of the Philistines went after them to the border of Beth-shemesh. They of Beth-shemesh were reaping their wheat harvest in the valley, and they lifted up their eyes and saw the ark, and rejoiced to see it. The cart came into the field of Joshua of Beth-shemesh, and stood there, where there was a great stone. And they split the wood of the cart, and offered up the cows for a burnt offering to Yahweh. The Levites took down the Ark of Yahweh, and the coffer that was with it, in which the jewels of gold were, and put them on the great stone. And the men of Beth-shemesh offered burnt offerings, and sacrificed sacrifices the same day to Yahweh. When the 5 lords of the Philistines had seen it, they returned to Ekron the same day. These are the golden tumors which the Philistines returned for a trespass offering to Yahweh. For Ashdod, 1. For Gaza, 1. For Ashkelon, 1. For Gath, 1. For Ekron, 1. And the golden mice, according to the number of all the cities of the Philistines, belonging to the 5 lords, both of fortified cities and of country villages, even to the great stone, whereon they set down the Ark of Yahweh, which stone remains to this day in the field of Joshua of Beth-shemesh. He struck of the men of Beth-shemesh, because they had looked into the Ark of Yahweh. He struck of the people 50,070 men. And the people mourned, because Yahweh had struck the people with a great slaughter. The men of Beth-shemesh said, "Who is able to stand before Yahweh, this holy God? To whom shall he go up from us? They sent messengers to the inhabitants of Kiriath-Jearim, saying, The Philistines have brought back the ark of Yahweh. Come down and bring it up to yourselves. Chapter 7. Samuel subdues the Philistines. The men of Kiriath-Jearim came, and fetched up the ark of Yahweh, and brought it into the house of Abinadab in the hill, and sanctified Eleazar his son to keep the ark of Yahweh. It happened, from the day that the ark stayed in Kiriath-Jearim, that the time was long, for it was 20 years. And all the house of Israel lamented after Yahweh. Samuel spoke to all the house of Israel, saying, If you do return to Yahweh with all your heart, then put away the foreign gods and the Ashtaroth from among you, and direct your hearts to Yahweh, and serve him only, and he will deliver you out of the hand of the Philistines. Then the children of Israel did put away the Baals and the Ashtaroth, and served Yahweh only. Samuel said, Gather all Israel to Mizpah, and I will pray for you to Yahweh. They gathered together to Mizpah, and drew water, and poured it out before Yahweh, and fasted on that day, and said there, We have sinned against Yahweh. Samuel judged the children of Israel in Mizpah. When the Philistines heard that the children of Israel were gathered together at Mizpah, the lords of the Philistines went up against Israel. When the children of Israel heard it, they were afraid of the Philistines. The children of Israel said to Samuel, Don't cease to cry to Yahweh our God for us, that he will save us out of the hand of the Philistines. Samuel took a suckling lamb, and offered it for a whole burnt offering to Yahweh. And Samuel cried to Yahweh for Israel, and Yahweh answered him. As Samuel was offering up the burnt offering, the Philistines drew near to battle against Israel. But Yahweh thundered with a great thunder on that day on the Philistines, and confused them, and they were struck down before Israel. The men of Israel went out of Mizpah, and pursued the Philistines, and struck them, until they came under Bethkar. Then Samuel took a stone, and set it between Mizpah and Shin, and called its name Ebenezer, saying, Yahweh helped us until now. So the Philistines were subdued, and they came no more within the border of Israel. The hand of Yahweh was against the Philistines all the days of Samuel. The cities which the Philistines had taken from Israel were restored to Israel, from Ekron even to Gath, and its border did Israel deliver out of the hand of the Philistines. There was peace between Israel and the Amorites. Samuel judges Israel. Samuel judged Israel all the days of his life. He went from year to year in circuit to Bethel and Gilgal and Mizpah, and he judged Israel in all those places. His return was to Ramah, for there was his house, and there he judged Israel, and he built there an altar to Yahweh. Chapter 8. Israel demands a king. It happened, when Samuel was old, that he made his sons judges over Israel. Now the name of his firstborn was Joel, and the name of his second Abijah. They were judges in Beersheba. His sons didn't walk in his ways, but turned aside after lucre, and took bribes, and perverted justice. Then all the elders of Israel gathered themselves together, and came to Samuel to Ramah. And they said to him, Behold, you are old, and your sons don't walk in your ways. Now, make us a king to judge us, like all the nations." But the thing displeased Samuel, when they said, "Give us a king to judge us." Samuel prayed to Yahweh. Yahweh said to Samuel,
"Listen to the voice of the people in all that they tell you, for they have not rejected you, but they have rejected me, that I should not be king over them, according to all the works which they have done, since the day that I brought them up out of Egypt, even to this day, in that they have forsaken me, and served other gods. So do they also to you. Now therefore, listen to their voice. However, you shall protest solemnly to them, and shall show them the way of the king who shall reign over them."
Samuel's warning about kings. Samuel told all the words of Yahweh to the people who asked of him a king. He said, "This will be the way of the king who shall reign over you. He will take your sons and appoint them to him for his chariots and to be his horsemen, and they shall run before his chariots. And he will appoint them to him for captains of thousands and captains of 50s, and he will set some to plow his ground, and to reap his harvest, and to make his instruments of war, and the instruments of his chariots. He will take your daughters to be perfumers, and to be cooks, and to be bakers. He will take your fields, and your vineyards, and your olive groves, even the best of them, and give them to his servants. He will take the 10th of your seed, and of your vineyards, and give to his officers, and to his servants. He will take your male servants, and your female servants, and your best young men, and your donkeys, and put them to his work. He will take the 10th of your flocks, and you shall be his servants. You shall cry out in that day because of your king, whom you shall have chosen you, and Yahweh will not answer you in that day." God grants the request. But the people refused to listen to the voice of Samuel, and they said, "No, but we will have a king over us, that we also may be like all the nations, and that our king may judge us, and go out before us, and fight our battles." Samuel heard all the words of the people, and he rehearsed them in the ears of Yahweh. Yahweh said to Samuel,
"Listen to their voice, and make them a king."
Samuel said to the men of Israel, "Every man go to his city."